For all those people that are all smartened up talking Kiz, Arnie, and K-Fizz, Abe, they know what's going on. What you gonna do when Born to Ride runs wild on you, brother?
Thanks for tuning in to Born to Ride TV, the longest running biker TV show in the world. It's time for our 1300th TV episode of Born to Ride, a milestone of epic proportion. It's the life and times of motorcycles and the people who ride them. And those people are you, the biker community. And now this.
Hey man, I think we're in Chopper Town.
Chopper Town.
Oh, Chopper Town.
Chopper Town.
Chopper Town.
All this and more here on Born to Ride.
Born to live, live to ride, ride to live, I was born to ride. American built, we forever unite, and that's the deal, I was born to ride. Out of Tampa to Miami, Daytona, Tallahassee, from the East Coast to the West Side, here in Florida, we were born to ride. I was born to live, live to ride, ride to live, I was born to ride. American built, we forever unite, and that's the deal, I was born to ride.
Born to Ride is sponsored in part by Rubenstein Law, 1-800-FL-LEGAL, representing riders since 1988. Offices throughout Florida, 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Hey man, I think we're in Chopper Town.
Chopper Town.
Oh, Chopper Town.
Chopper Town.
Chopper Town.
So we started Born to Ride 25 years ago, 1995. Now it's 2021. This is our 1300th TV episode. Let me put some things in perspective for you of other shows and what they've produced. One of my favorite shows, Shark Tank, they've got 199. Famous show Star Trek did 79. The Simpsons are at 639. Another favorite is The Twilight Zone, 156. How about MASH? What do you think MASH has done? MASH has produced 251. Another show that seemed like it ran forever was America's Most Wanted. What do you think they did? 941. Monday Night Football, are you wondering? 700. And one of my all-time favorite shows that just seems like it's gone on and on and on is Bad Boys, What You Gonna Do? What You Gonna Do When They Come For You? That's right, I'm talking about Cops. And they're at 1100. So on the show today, what are we gonna do? Nothing different than we have been doing. Delivering and producing Born to Ride. It's about you, the biker community. We want to tell your stories. So stay tuned and you'll see the rest of this show. And next week, we've got really something special for you. So stay tuned right here on the 1300th episode of Born to Ride TV.
If Instagram is your thing, we're there. We're everywhere. Follow us at #Born to Ride Motorcycle Media, your #1 motorcycle resource.
When I helped design my line of AMF Roadmaster wheels, I said make them red, white, and blue to bear my name, Evel Knievel. You can see they're built solid, flashy, and hip, and the bikes come with these safety tips that bear my name, Evel Knievel. So if your kids are thrilled, I know just how they feel. These wheels are real exciting and bear my name, Evel Knievel.
Hi, this is Evel Knievel, and you're watching Born to Ride.
Oh my goodness, Dave Nichols, welcome to another edition of Born to Ride Live. I'm the Flash Man, Dave Nichols over there. How are things on the West Coast, my friend?
Beautiful, perfect, just like it is there in Florida. And I hear Daytona Bike Week is fantastic this year.
Oh my gosh, the weather this past weekend could not have been more perfect for a bike event. And I'm telling you, it's lasted all week, and we've got more great riding weather coming up this weekend. So I got to get the old bike out, get her spit shined up, and ready to ride, buddy.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Born to Ride Live, everybody. We got a great show for you. We've got some interesting things coming up. One of my favorite things is because Born to Ride's been around for 25 years and 1,300 TV episodes.
Unreal.
There's all this great content that Ron and Deb Galletti put together, and one of the things I love are the old vintage Harley Davidson TV commercials.
It takes you right back in time, doesn't it?
I love it so much. I remember watching those as a kid, man. They're so cool. Yeah. So we've got a great vintage Harley ad coming up about the Tour Glide when that was a brand new thing. That's kind of fun. And then you're going to meet, if you don't know them already, you're going to meet John and Heather, who are Born to Ride. I guess, what would you call them? Are they sort of like man on the street?
Listen, they're hardcore bikers. You know, I got to hang out with them a little bit at Chopper Town, and we run around. They've got they put the whole rig together. They've got their camera out there, and they're taping and they're filming, and they actually got a mobile living device now. They've got the whole RV set up, brand spanking new. Wow. Still has that new car smell to it, Dave.
Amazing. Well, John and Heather are going to interview Mr. Ron Galletti. He's going to tell us all about the long and amazing history of Born to Ride, the magazine, the TV show, everything. So
I'll tell you what, folks,
that's coming up.
Speaking of Born to Ride, you know, all of this content is available for you online at borntoride.com. There's links to all of our other channels. Of course, we've got the full YouTube channel, Instagram. I mean, if you're one of the people that loves the social media, 25 years of Born to Ride is right there at your fingertips, at your keyboard, on your phone. So get after it digitally. And a lot of folks, like I say, if you can't get the paper copy of the magazine in your hand, you can always go into borntoride.com and just flip through the pages digitally. And I'll tell you, it's just such a great thing because here in the Tampa Bay area, of course, you can get it here statewide. But if you're out west like my good buddy Dave.
That's right. I can't get the paper version except that Ron sends me some. But, you can go online and see it at borntoride.com and all the other amazing things that our little Born to Ride family is doing. And speaking of that, don't forget to join the Facebook group, the Born to Ride Facebook group. You can be one of our family.
We'd love that.
I heard there were 2 people so far that haven't, joined yet, but we're going to get
3. We got 2 left. We got to get them.
You got to get them.
Just give in. Just do it. Hit that like button, man. Subscribe.
Do it. Right. Okay, let's go and check out some of this amazing stuff we got coming up with John and Heather right here on Born to Ride Live.
The heart of a thoroughbred, a new breed of touring bike. The new 80 cubic inch Harley Davidson Tour Glide. So sleek, so smooth, it's more than a machine. Harley Davidson is more
Hey y'all, it's Trace Atkins. One reason I'm excited about the High Seas Rally is their commitment to supporting our military and first responders. I'm proud to be helping High Seas Rally's Salute to Service mission, raising money for Wounded Warrior Project, and celebrating our heroes on the front lines. I'll see you in October 2021.
Hey, that's the deal I was born to ride.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening, guys. How you doing out there?
It's the
John and
Heather Show coming to you live from
our production studio, riding with this great bunch back here, Born to Ride. And speaking of Born to Ride, our guest on the show tonight is the one, the only, the owner, the CEO, the president of Born to Ride Media,
publisher,
television, our boss, our dear friend, Ron Galletti.
The main man.
The man, the myth, the legend. You, your wife, and just it's wonderful.
Right, even though we're fairly new to the team,
yes,
we really enjoy the fact that you guys have welcomed us in with open arms.
Yes.
Well, you know, you guys are a big part of it, and we are a family, and you know, we're just real with people. This is episode number 1,291, man. Did I say 1,291? Woo!
200 magazine, 200th edition of your magazine too.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, it's man, I mean, that's more than The Simpsons, man. They haven't even done that many episodes of television. Yeah, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on, but of course with the COVID, it's slowed everything down. Yes. So we're not, you know, we're not out trying to do every bike night in town, every event. We're just kind of sitting back and kind of homing in on what we do. And, you know, we're working a lot of things out with, you know, with our show that was on tonight, Born to Ride Live on Facebook, and it also airs on Choppertown. Goes out to almost 2.6 million followers for Choppertown. So we're getting a lot more views and eyes on our product and our you know, our shows. So people from all over the world are getting to see that. And because of that, it's bringing us more national attention. So, you know, when things get tough or a little bit hard for people, you got to switch gears in life. Yeah. And you got to be a little more creative and home in on your skills. We have the backup to of producing television for 25 years. So we have a lot of content that the world can see. And so it's been fun doing that and homing in with editor of Born to Ride magazine, Dave Nichols.
How the heck did you get started? And I mean, 25 years of this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is just fantastic what you've done and what you've built. It's like an empire.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people will say that, but you're only as good as your last episode, your last issue, or your last anything. So, you know, I've got to keep pushing for tomorrow, but you got to have a creative mind. You got to have discipline. You got to be able to communicate with others, because you count on other people to be a part of a team to produce and and design. And so it's a journey, you know. I mean, our kids grew up in it. In the early days, they were with us in the baby carriages and the playpens and stuff. And we had the tents up, and, you know, they kind of grew up in the motorcycle world. And now they're 18 and 19, and, you know, and I think they've learned a lot of good lessons being a part of the biker community. They learned probably some of the greatest lessons in life, say from a guy who would give the shirt off his back to someone else who needed it more, or the last dollar in your pocket. Or what else I really like is that they got to see the respect that others held for their parents. People would come up to us and thank us, or, you know, say how much they appreciate what we do. And it's the little things in life that we've always tried to do to help others when someone was down. Or, you know, we're a media company, so I think we have a duty, you know, to do the right thing with it. And we have to give back to our community, like so many bikers, so many of these other magazines and media companies all do. You guys do it. The bikers have big hearts, and it's our job, I think, to document the lifestyle in a proper manner and lead the way as big goodwill ambassadors for not only motorcycling, but for life in general. That bikers were still breaking down the stereotypes that bikers have always had. Yeah. And I'm really proud to be able to do that. And I think as long as you keep it real to what you believe in and what you portray and what you produce, what can people say about you other than positive things? And if they're saying negative things about somebody, they need to look in the mirror and see who they are or what they've done in their life, because you just got to produce and stay positive.
I always like talking. I always like talking to the people at the events when we do interviews. It's just nice to see somebody so interested in being able to give back.
Yeah.
You know, and I just love being able to get the stories about that.
And I know one thing you taught us is you're as good as your content. Bringing it in and bringing the people in and showing the lifestyle and showing, like you said, having your kids grow up and seeing how their parents are respected is phenomenal, because you could preach it to them. You could tell them, listen, this is what we do. We believe in helping others and paying it forward. But instead of hearing it, they saw it.
Do it.
Yeah, they took part in it as well. And, we all traveled in the van. I remember between the front seat, we'd put a cooler there, and Deb would sit on the cooler in the middle all the way up to Georgia or Tennessee sometimes, and the kids would share the other seat. So people don't realize the sacrifices we all make in life and business and to do anything. But, that's why it's the business we chose. So we have to make it work. And, there's struggles, there's pitfalls, there's mountains and there's valleys. And you just got to keep doing what you do. If you believe in it, there's nothing but, rewards from it. And it's the relationships we make along the way. Some of the greatest times, some of the greatest people we've met were because of motorcycles. Well, hell, we've been doing it for 25 years. So, we've made a lot of relationships. But when I first started Born to Ride, I got fired from a day job that I had, and I came home and I said, damn it, Deb, I'm going to start a TV show. And she goes, what? Deb was working, for a corporate insurance company. And I said, yeah, I'm going to start this TV show because, I had a Suzuki 750 back in high school that I rode, and then I got rid of it. And then Deb got a bike. She had a 91 Springer, so then I got one, and I was doing wrestling at the time at Universal Studios, and all my friends were riding on Wednesday nights. I said, man, I'm getting me a Harley. So I got one, and Deb got one, and I started saying, man, we put our bikes in this bike show, and these people are fanatical about their bikes, man. That lady just put $1,000 worth of bling on her bike. This guy's upset that he didn't win a trophy, and these people are fanatical. And this was in like 1995. I said, there needs to be a biker TV show. Came up with Born to Ride, and I was doing a wrestling show in Ybor City one night, and the film crew came in from like Tampa Nightlife or whatever, and I said, hey man, how can I get a copy of that tape? Because everybody wants a copy of the tape from their stuff that they do. And he goes, well, here's a card, and it was called Fast Forward Video. The next morning, I went to Tampa to this place, Fast Food Beer. He knocked on the door, and this guy came out. He goes, yeah. And he was from Argentina. His name was Henry Pina. And I said, man, I want to do a biker TV show. He goes, oh, a biker show, it'll never work. I said, so I tell you what, give me your photographer, your videographer, and we'll go to Bike Week 95. It's coming up. And if we're going to shoot a demo tape, and if we get it going, you guys will be my production company. I'll hire you. And he goes, oh, okay. So I wanted to be at Bike Week in Daytona at sunrise. I wanted to catch the endless summer style shot with a biker on the beach for some reason with a silhouette into the sun. So we get there, it's like 6 a.m. The sun's just coming up, and I'm going, oh shoot, where do we find a biker at? And all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. I go, ah! Next thing you know, we're at the beach getting the shot. And I got that shot I wanted. Later on in the day, we were at on Main Street, and I was doing interviews, and I was saying, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Didn't even have a sponsor, man. But I just had that vision, and my camera guy, he was from Argentina, and he was like, Ron, because that's incredible. You don't even have a sponsor. I go, no, man, but we're going to do this. So we got the demo done, and I started, there really wasn't cell phones or really internet wasn't happening. I did get the .com back then, but it wasn't a lot of social media at all, nothing. So I would start faxing all the shops in Tampa Bay. It's coming, Born to Ride. And I went ahead and had the logo. We got a bank account. We got incorporated. So we were legit. So people could understand that I'm serious. And then with my background of being in the band Nasty Savage and marketing that and the pro wrestling stuff, people kind of took me serious.
Yeah.
And when I had the demo ready to go, I started calling all these shops, and they go, oh yeah, we heard about Nasty. We heard about Born to Ride. Yeah, because I faxed you all that info every week. So, one by one, Fletcher's Harley Davidson in Clearwater, Bob Fletcher and JT and their whole family believed in Born to Ride from the get-go. And another dealership was Barnes Harley Davidson in Tampa, before the Furmans bought it. And Ron Barnes and his brother believed in Born to Ride. They took the tech tip of the week. And it's just those little things that you never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
And
I love that you remember
everybody and where you came from.
25 years ago, you remember these important people and their names and what they've done for you.
The stars are shining bright at Crystal Harley Davidson. Jeff, Bo, and Craig are the Hog Stars. They're offering top dollar for your trade-in. Push it, pull it, drag it, drive it, motorcycles, old cars, trucks, boats, side-by-sides, and more. The Hog Stars are ready to get you riding your new 2021 Harley Davidson in stock in our showroom now. Ask for the Hog Stars to get the most for your trade. Go to crystalharley.com to find out more.
Just riveting, Dave. Just riveting.
Hey.
Years. Yeah. Born to Ride.
That's right.
Part 2 of John and Heather interviewing Ron Galletti of Born to Ride, owner, proprietor. I got to talk to Debbie Galletti, of course, Ron's boss. Sat in the office with her last week, and we're going over some of the cool things. I'll tell you, man, you guys got some cool stuff. And did you get to read the Nefarious James article in the latest issue of Born to Ride?
Absolutely, you bet.
You were right on point. You were right on point.
It's one of my favorites that he's ever done.
Folks,
and it was kind of like now. I think it had a lot to do with after you talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
At Thunder by the Bay at Choppertown Live.
Yeah.
I think right after that, I think he wrote that because that's what it seemed like. That's what you guys were talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what he wrote about. And
we're not going to tell you about it. You're going to have to go check it out yourself. If you haven't got the paper copy of Born to Ride, Make sure you pick it up, borntoride.com, flip through the digital page. I'll tell you, honest to goodness, Nefarious James, we had him on the show a couple of times, and I talked to him about coming back on with us and talking a little bit here soon. But what a cool guy. And it's one of those things where the old adage, you can't judge a book by the cover, because he just looks like he would just be, you sneeze or look at him the wrong way and he'd be whipping your, well, you know. But
like so many bikers of old. Yeah.
You get to know him and just get to talking to him. And the guy is just super educated, and he's just got a super cool outlook on life. And the first couple times that I talked to him, I was like, yeah, you know, and he kind of gives you a different perspective and a different way to look at things.
Right.
And I just absolutely love that about the guy.
The March issue, which is out now, obviously. Go to borntoride.live, check out the new issue, because he's amazing. And I don't know if you folks can see this at home. I'm going to see if I can show you this.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
You know what that is?
Are you getting your gun engraved, Dave?
No, but that is a new advertiser, Seattle Engraving Company.
Yeah.
They are a full-service engraving company that do beautiful work. So imagine what they could do on your motorcycle.
Oh, I can only imagine what they can do on the motorcycle.
Beautiful panhead motor or something. Yeah. Engraving.
Hey, you know, folks, that brings up another great point there, Dave. You know, if you are looking to get your word out, if you have some sort of a service that pertains to motorcycles and the people that ride them, that pretty much broadens it out. Make sure you get a hold of us at Born to Ride, because I'm telling you, Ron and Debbie are working some amazing deals to get your word out to the public. And I'm telling you right now, there are not a better group of people than the bikers, because the bikers are always involved in charity events. They're always involved in everything, and they all love and read Born to Ride every month. So,
well, it doesn't have to be that you own some big company or something. You could have a local bar. You could have, there's a mom who sent us an email this last week who has a son named Knox. And this kid is like 6 years old, and he's out there doing motocross.
How about that?
The kid's amazing.
How about that?
And so they contacted us because they're looking for sponsors. And he's fantastic. There's an article coming up next month about this kid. You'll see it in Born to Ride, and he is fantastic. So I'm just saying, you know, if it has anything to do with motorcycles, we want to hear about it, folks.
Yes,
so
we do.
Know.
Yes, we do. And that's something else too, folks. Where are you watching the show? If you're watching tonight, let us know where you're at. Let us know what you ride. Let us know if you want to get your ride in the Born to Ride magazine, because that guy right over there is going to tell you how to get your bike into Born to Ride, perhaps. Go ahead.
It's so easy, friends. Send me some pictures. Just email me a couple of shots of your bike, you and your bike, and we'll get it in the magazine. It's editor@borntoride.com. That's all you got to do. Let me see your bike. Let's put it in a magazine. That's kind of fun, right? Absolutely.
There you go.
Flash
all right, Dave, listen, I'm chomping at the bit. I got to get to part 2 of this interview with John and Heather, because I haven't got to see it, so I got to know what's going on.
Well, here it comes right here on Born to Ride Live.
We know you feel trapped. You want to get out where freedom begins. Simple. Take off on a legend, a Harley-Davidson Freedom Machine. This one's a classic, the 1200cc Electroglide. Harley-Davidson has meant quality and performance for more than 70 years. That's why AMF puts its name on the line, too. And that name adds even more value to sports products like Harley-Davidson motorcycles. AMF brings out the best in you.
Well, we try to. It's important, and you know, I never forget a face, and yeah, I have a lot of good memories, and you know, you have to remember those things because you don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been, you know, and life's a journey, you know, but to be able to tell a story is a very cool thing, and that's really what I think I am mostly is a storyteller. We tell other people's stories, and it's very interesting to grab someone else's passion and tell it and make it a good story that they're proud of and other people like it. And you know, but everybody's got a story. You don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to be a celebrity. It's always cool. We've got plenty of them. But the real people, I've always said, Born to Ride is about you, the people, the riders, the biker community. And I could close my eyes and spin around in a big crowd, and the first person I could go to, I could get a story because I am a storyteller. And it's about who are you, where you're from, tell me about your bike, you know, your family, where you ride. Let's go for a ride. Let's park. Let's talk about your bike and what riding's about to you. That's a story right there. Then you tie in charities and industry and, you know, what's hot, you know, destinations and things like that. You got to be creative to be a producer. You know, people want to be a radio guy on a show. They want to be a TV producer. They want to do a Facebook Live. They better know how to tell a story to keep people interesting. I mean, it's all good, but home in on your craft. If you're a painter, take painting lessons. You know, whatever you do, just try to do your best because you want the people who support you to get results. Yeah. And ultimately, you need to get people results for what you do. And people out there, listen here. You know, John and Heather do a great job. These people have a lot of passion, you know, and they really enjoy motorcycling. They're people, you know, people who love people. And if you see their posts on Facebook, you see what they're doing, it's real. That's why they're a part of Born to Ride, you know, and support this show, share it, and tell other people about it, you know, and support what they're doing because they're just an extension of, they might say they're an extension of Born to Ride, but they're an extension of themselves. And we need more people like them to go out and be goodwill ambassadors, you know, for people. And I think that's really important. And I got to tell you guys, we really appreciate, you know, what you're doing, but I think it's cool that you're able to play the Born to Ride content so some of your viewers and followers can check it out. And I think it brings credibility that we work together in this manner, but it also to you guys for giving your viewers a different type of content. And when it comes time to doing a weekly show, it probably helps out when you don't have to edit an hour-long show either, and you can use some of the content that it gives you more time to, you know, to really get into an edit. And I think you're improving all the time with your editing, your shooting, and that's the greatest thing that we do is always want to get better and just tweak it here and, you know, and listen and learn. And you know, it's always storytelling. How do you tell a story? What makes sense? Sometimes it doesn't make sense at all. You got to go from backwards to forwards, and it's not always 1, 2, 3, ABC. Yeah. The viewer gets what we give them. They don't know if we cut this out and moved it over here. So we have to do that to fortify our storytelling. And if anything I could stress is a story has an opening and an ending and a middle is that meat, you know, and it's really fun when you can nail that. And it's a challenge. I mean, it's like a surfer looking for the ultimate wave, man. He's never going to find it. If he does, he's done. When we lose that passion for what we do, I think that's when we're done, you know. It's like Picasso. What an artist he was with painting, and then he did sculptures, and he was always doing art, and you know, he was inspired by bullfighting or this and that. But when he knew it was his last years and he was coming to an end, he had more passion than ever before to create with his art. And you know, that's what I dig, is never slowing down, pushing. And you know what, getting more out of the people around you to produce, to direct, you know, to communicate. You know, that's what producers do. That's all they know is to produce. You know, it's like a dog on a hunt. You know, he's going to hunt. That dog's going to hunt. He's going to hunt. So yeah, that's kind of it. 25 years. Seems like just yesterday we started.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing, and we definitely really appreciate being part of Born to Ride family.
We portray this proudly. We do.
We
appreciate that.
A lot to us.
Well, you know, you guys earn your earn it, you know, because you deliver and you got that passion. And if you didn't have the passion, we wouldn't need to be working together, you know, because we want to fly with eagles so we don't have to deal with turkeys. And you guys are eagles, you know, and that's what it's about, man. You know, people can learn a lot from you guys because when they're around you, a lot of positive vibes, you know, and life is too short not to be positive and have a good time. And if they don't get that, man, they're missing out. They're really missing out. So the people listening right now, man, you gotta get down with it and have fun. And you know, that's what I like about it is you guys are storytellers too, and you go out with the assignment. And you know, Heather, you just get out there with the people, and you could just, like chameleon, you could just go into any situation and figure it out quickly and break it down, you know, and tell that story. But remember always to get the story from the people. Let them talk. Because when we work with the people, it's a magic. Because now we're creating superstars out there, and that's what I love, because everybody's a star out there, and the story, you know, the passion that people have. Sometimes they laugh, but sometimes they cry, you know, and when they cry, we got to get that, because that's our job, to show the emotion, so people get the situation we're trying to portray.
I've had those things before. They're emotional.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's our job. You know, we have to. You know, it's sad sometimes. It's very sad, but we have to show that emotion so other people understand how passionate our lifestyle is and our biker community is. Some great people in this biker community doing great things for our communities and across everywhere on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. It's not just at Christmas time.
Yeah, exactly. You said it correct. It's all of the time.
That's right.
Unfortunately, sometimes the news media will want to do the story blood on the asphalt, hooligans on the highway, you know, this and that. But they let hundreds of charities and good deeds from bikers go by the wayside. So when they do get featured from time to time, it's always a good thing. But the bikers don't do it for recognition. They do it because that's who they are. And there's nothing like the sound and the sight of thousands of bikes rolling by, or hundreds of bikes, or even a dozen bikes riding by on a great call.
It's that positive vibration you feel from.
Oh, yeah, it is. Ron, thank you so much for being on our show.
God, it's been great talking with you.
You're just a man of wisdom. You really are.
You are, and a wisdom of knowledge.
Well, I appreciate it. And, you know, that's why I want to talk a little bit about what we do, because we have it in common of being producing and, you know, getting out there and in the field. And sometimes people don't realize that it's not a magic dust we just throw down, or like Jack and the Beans out the window and you wake up the next morning and there's a foot beanstalk out there. It takes time, you know, and it's not always perfect, but there's always another show. It's like the sun's going to come up tomorrow no matter what.
All right, Ron, thank you so much for being on our show. We love having you here, and it's great telling the story of Born to Ride. We really do appreciate it.
Yes, and everybody, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for everything, and please check out Born to Ride magazine. You cannot forget, this is the one, the only
Born to Ride.
Born to Ride.
Thanks, guys. Love y'all.
Have a great one.
All right. Okay.
All right, everybody. What a great show.
Mr. Ron Galletti. He is the owner, CEO, and good friend of ours, boss, whatever you want to say, but he's just a wonderful guy. Great magazine, family, man. We love you all.
Yes, we do.
Remember, keep it shiny side up.
Rubber side down. Have a great one.
This is.
Oh, yes, folks. Don't forget, be a part of our Born to Ride Facebook family. If you haven't, I know there's 2 of you left, and I think we're kind of pushing getting those 2, Dave. I think it's going to happen tonight.
I think it'll happen this week. I feel good about it.
Yeah, click that subscribe, ding on it, make sure you follow us and all that fun stuff. That way you never miss a live episode of Born to Ride live.
He ain't lying. Hey, listen, what we got coming up for you next is the amazing Mr. Dale Wachsler.
Yeah.
The Wheels Through Time Motorcycle Museum. Dale just passed away, but we've got great video thanks to our Born to Ride vault. We have 25 years worth of quality motorcycle entertainment here, and Dale's going to tell you some interesting stuff in this next segment. He tells us about racing on the beach in Daytona, way back.
Oh, yeah, back in the day. That's how it started out there on the old Daytona Beach.
Exactly right. So,
now, his son, as I understand, took the museum over, so it's still up there in them hills of North Carolina, right?
That's right. They are in Haywood County, North Carolina. If you get a chance, it's a 38,000, excuse me, 38,000 square foot museum with over 300 amazing antique motorcycles. Incredible. You check it out. Wheels Through Time Museum. Google them. You'll be amazed. And go by and see the Wheels Through Time Museum.
Well, let's get into this last segment here, and we'll be back to tell everybody goodbye.
That's right.
Keep it right here. Born to Ride live.
I'm Charlie Daniels. You're watching Born to Ride.
Well, we're doing a first here at Wheels Through Time. It's a new series that we're calling These Old Bikes, and it's truly the story of American history and rare American motorcycles like the one behind me or the one I'm sitting on. Here at Wheels Through Time, there's over 400 rare machines, and there's a story to tell on every one of these machines. Many of these stories have layers of history. We're going to get into some of those layers of history a little bit sooner on this bike and this bike both. But, you know, these old bikes here at Wheels Through Time are really relevant to American history. And I think the point of our programming is to really share the relevance of Wheels Through Time with American history as we have gone through the last 120 years in American motorcycling. So the story I'm really talking about today was inspired recently with a clip that I saw online, and the clip was about a race in Daytona. It wasn't actually a race. It was trying to set a high-speed run in February of 1920. We're going to talk more about that in a minute, but what I want to tell you all about right now is the machine that I'm sitting on, because it kind of leads into the story of February of 1920. This particular machine is a Harley-Davidson board track racer. It's in completely original condition. It's never been touched other than from what I've done in the last 30 years, been running it regularly at least once a week. But the bike has all the original finish. My good friend Bill at the Harley-Davidson Museum in Milwaukee says this is his favorite bike at Wheels Through Time. I found the bike up in near Niagara Falls, Lockport, New York, probably about 25 years ago. And I've had a lot of fun with the bike. A really great story about the bike is in I think 1998 or 97, I brought it to Springfield, Illinois, to the Springfield Mile, big motorcycle race, and that was where all the legends would show up. And my good friend Jim Davis was at Springfield in 1997, 1998. Jim died at 102, and Jim is really known still today is probably the premier American board track racing legend. I got to know Jim in the early 90s, and I spent as much time as I possibly could with Jim. At Springfield of that year, I've got plenty of pictures here and there of Jim sitting on this motorcycle, not just sitting, but running. And I think probably no better way to get this little show going than let me start the 1921 Harley-Davidson SCA Harley board track racer. I didn't mention this. It is serial number 1. If you have a look at the motor number, it's 21 SCA 500, and that indicates serial number 1. As far as the rarity of the machine, priceless, only one known of its kind, and I'm going to start it up for you right now.
At Wheels Through Time, there are hundreds of motorcycles and dozens of cars, each with a story all of their own. From the rarest antiques to the most iconic styles, we are dedicated to telling the story of these old bikes.
Just like that. Now this is a single cylinder version. It doesn't really roar like a twin cylinder Harley-Davidson board track racer like the bike Jim Davis rode would run, well over 100 miles an hour. The history lesson we're talking about today actually takes us to 111 miles an hour. So in the early 90s, when I met Jim, he was able to share with me a lot of his stories on board track racing. Told me a great story about flying an airplane into Murrock Dry Lake and the thing crashed. And he always had a great story, and it was always a new story. After Jim's board track racing career, he went on to work for the AMA as a flagman at all the AMA dirt track races. If you ever look at an old AMA magazine, you see the guy holding that flag. That was Jim Davis, and quite a legend he was. What made Jim particularly famous was this motorcycle right here, one of the many bikes that made him famous. And I'll tell you a little bit about this, and then I'm going to tell you about the bike behind it. And that's going to really lead to the history lesson that we're talking about today. But in 1920, Jim set a new record at Dodge City on this motorcycle. And if you'll notice, this engine is quite a bit different, this engine. And he also signed it for me right here. It says, "To Dale from Jim Davis on 3/6/1997, just 101 years old. He wrote his birth date of 3/23/1896. And I said to Jim, what was your favorite motor? And really in the terminology of that day, what motor meant is, what was your favorite motorcycle? And right off the bat, he wrote this down, CA9. And CA9 is the serial number of a very special engine. That engine. It's called a banjo engine. That number also comes up in reference in several books that Jim quoted that number, so I truly believe it is the number. And of course, that was Dodge City 1920, where he, July 4th, where he won the race. Well, behind the Dodge City bike is this bike. And let me tell you what this is. This is the same engine, not the exact same engine. This is CA4. This is what's called a Harley-Davidson Banjo 2-cam engine. This engine came out for the first run in February of 1920. There's less than 8 of these engines known. It's actually one of the most priceless Harley-Davidson relics on the planet. And I found this engine in Montana back in the mid-'80s. I've got a great picture right here you're welcome to look at later of the day I found that engine in Montana. And I brought the engine back. I had it for about 30 years, and a very similar time frame. It's actually kind of interesting because when I was hanging around with Jim Davis, maybe some of his energy rubbed off on me, but to be able to find this motorcycle, also plenty of pictures of Jim sitting on this bike, but also to find this engine was such a priceless thing to find right in that same time frame when I was friends with Jim. The frame, I just found the frame. Everybody said, "What are you going to do with that Harley Banjo engine, Dale?" And I said, "Someday I'll get lucky and found a frame." And this past spring, I found this chassis. But we're really not to the history lesson yet. I just wanted to kind of bring you into the frame of the time period and what was going on. Board track racing was kind of at a peak. Shortly after that, there was a 2-year hiatus, Harley-Davidson from board track racing, 1921, 1922. But the lesson today goes back to February of 1920, and that's what these pictures are all about. Right here, these 3 pictures, and that's what the clip is all about. So the clip was the story of Red Parkhurst and Fred Ludlow taking, in 1920, the Banjo engine, this engine right here. You can see it in the picture here. You can see it in the picture here. And it was the first time that engine had ever been debuted in any way, in any form. And they did it at the Festival of Speed in Daytona in 1920. Obviously, ice cold in Milwaukee. There wasn't anybody going down the streets in Milwaukee. So they took the bike to Daytona with the purpose of setting 2 records, a solo record and a sidecar record. And of course, the sidecar record, there had to be somebody in the sidecar. It was also the introduction of the new ultralight Bullet sidecar. So the Harley-Davidson racing team, which was Fred Ludlow, the racing manager, I forget his name, and Red Parkhurst went to Florida, and they set up the track. The track was 5 miles long, and it was electronically timed with the most sophisticated timing equipment. I forgot the name of the equipment, but the way it worked, it was a 5-mile stretch down the beach, and they actually strung a wire for 5 miles. And which is unheard of in the digital age that we're in today. But they strung a wire for 5 miles, and at all the intervals where they wanted to check the record speed, across the track, they actually had a wire that was 2 inches above the sand, and the bike would run over that and trip the wire so the machine would know when each wire was tripped, therefore able to understand how these records were set. So they set numerous records on the beach, and it is so well documented. Motor Age magazine had a tremendous story about it. The AMA magazine, American Motorcyclist at the time, had a tremendous story. But what was really most interesting is, as I mentioned, what had inspired this conversation today was the video clip. And the video clip is probably some of the best high-quality film footage I've ever seen from 1920 that absolutely documents what Parkhurst and Ludlow did on the beach. The speed itself is actually kind of interesting because at this time, this is the 1,000 cc's, but they set their record on an engine that was slightly bigger. It's not really called cheating, but it's called like bending the rules a little bit, okay? So they wanted to have this, big feast of speed, and so they did it kind of with a cheater motor, although they acknowledged that. But they also ran the 61-inch motors, and they ran also well over 100 miles an hour. So the lesson, of course, Harley-Davidson always at the forefront of racing. In 1920, their ability to take a racing team to Florida with brand new equipment, untested, find the best people available to test their speeds. They had all kinds of referees, etc., marking that speed. But what I'm really here to tell you is about the artifact that I found about 15 years ago. And this is the trophy that Red Parkhurst won. Red Parkhurst, February 6, 1920, Daytona, Florida. The AAT&A sidecar 1, 2, and 5 mile trophy. So the trophy from the race, don't have the bike, have an engine very similar to it. And really the last thing that I wanted to share with you, pictures available after the conversation, you're welcome to look at them. But in 1997, when I had Jim sitting on this bike running, I took the trophy to Jim because Red Parkhurst was his best friend. And the idea was to get Jim Davis's recollection of Red Parkhurst setting that record on an engine very similar to his favorite engine. Now the problem was that was 20 years ago. I have lost the recollection of his recollection, but I do have the recollection. But I do have the recollection of spending time with Jim, and I have the photos to prove it. And that's the history lesson we got today. That's all, folks.
Wow, man, Dave Wachsler, what an amazing place. If you have the opportunity to get up there, check that museum out. Put that, man, I think that might be slipping onto my bucket list right there, Dave.
Absolutely. Wheels Through Time Museum. You got to check it out, folks. We want to thank everybody for being with us today. A beautiful day here in America. And
yes, it is.
Come back and see us again next week, same time, same channel.
That's it, folks. And don't forget, subscribe and like us and follow us, and you'll get those alerts every time we go live. And make sure you check out borntoride.com for all of the latest things about motorcycles and the people that ride them. 25 years of stuff and content and motorcycle stuff. There's nobody that's got more of it. So check it out, borntoride.com. And we will see you again, same time, same channel next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Take care.
Check out the all-new borntoride.com with radio, TV, industry, adventure, events, magazine, social media, and much more. It's the all-new borntoride.com.